you. If you know to the community, I don't know, is the code that I don't understand it. Or a lot of us.
They've been in trouble with the law.
Yeah, or they're known to police for criminal activity, not necessarily criminal record, I think, right? Because maybe you're just investigating them?
That's exactly correct. We can't, again, talk about a person's criminal record or criminal background per se overall, not specific to this case, but in any case.
Right, but the point is that police know this victim. And I guess my question for people in the community, leaders in the community, is how much is that a concern to the community, that it's these few individuals who perhaps are linked to some criminal activity who are falling through the cracks and ending up dead?
Here we are doing two jobs. Are we talking about underlying causes of this issue, or are we talking about solving the crime, the cases? That's totally different. So for us right now, today we're dealing with how the police, when it comes to the police, is how to solve the problem. But when it comes to the preventing and underlying cause, that's something different. So for us, somehow that's where we have to deal with, because this young, the Canadian. So it says about it will say those kids, it says all about us. What you and I have it. So it's not only my responsibility. That way we are working with the city, with the province, with the community, with the federal, to find out what's causing it. So our community don't have resources to investigate that, in that issue of what underlying causes and why. But when it comes to how they end up where they are, each case is different, so you cannot generalize. So that's where we are trying to, where we are.
Other mystery of this killings are that most of these young men, they're all from Ontario. And the mainstream do not understand how come so many from Somalia and Ontario who moved to the Edmonton get killed. How big is the percentage of your community who are from Ontario?
All of us, we came from, everybody I know initially came through Ontario. That's where that's where when you came from. We came from east of the Canada. So the first stop when you come from the east, it doesn't matter whether Europe or Africa or anywhere. The first stop is either Montreal or Toronto. So again, that's where most of them. For example, the last victim, he was being here. How long you have to be in here in province of the city to be called as in Edmonton, Alberta? I think if you are 3 months over here and you stay, you have to change your driver license. I think for me, that's when I call myself as in Edmontonian. So that's also so all Somalians came from Ontario one time or another.
So you talk about the media not portraying the Somali community in the right light and always connecting us to the Somali community. But at the same time, it seems that the community as a whole is not willing to take some, not blame, but understand that, there's that connection for a reason. They're all...
Okay, I'll answer that. Your question is incorrect. I never said that the media was portraying it in the wrong manner. I said that the picture was not complete. So those are two different things. So I just wanted to correct your question. The picture is not complex enough. It's a Somali young man from Ontario dead. There isn't any context to it. And secondly, I agree with Mohammed. The latest victim lived in Edmonton for a year. Edmonton for a year and Alberta for 5 years. And so that kind of gives you the idea. So I just wanted to correct you. The premise of your question is that the community never said that the media was incorrect, but it was an incomplete picture.
So does the Somali community, though, do you believe that you have an issue within your community that you guys need to look at?
Absolutely. We wouldn't be here if that's not the case. We wouldn't be talking to the police. We wouldn't be inviting our MLAs. I wouldn't come all the way from Ottawa. Mohammed wouldn't give so much voluntary hours into this issue if it wasn't an issue. Somali fathers wouldn't be meeting last night with the police here and Crime Stoppers if it wasn't an issue. This is a serious issue. I just talked about how since 2007 almost a dozen young men lost to just this single community. Absolutely. I can't imagine any other community who wouldn't be as concerned as we are, if not more. So I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that that's the case. Do you have the perception that it isn't?
It just seems that you keep trying to go away from that fact. When, like, I understand why you want to look at the bigger picture of it, but at the same time, when you have one thing happening in one general area, whether it be, you know, the Somali community or the west end of Edmonton or wherever, you automatically put that connection with it. So I guess I'm just wondering maybe if you
No, I actually.
do you think there's a drug and gang problem?
Well, before I answer that, you said it seems like we're going away from the issue. In fact, it's the other way around. If I strongly believe, and I'm not sure if everybody agrees with me in this table, but I strongly believe that if the picture is a little bit more complete, then you'll have buy-in from the mainstream. The mainstream now, a large, substantial number of them believes that there's something unique to the Somali community in Edmonton and crime. And there is this perception that the vast majority of them are criminals. That is absolutely not true. Now, to correct that perception is important because it will help the mainstream get buy-in into this problem and help this vulnerable community solve the problem, right? So that's one. Second reason why it's important, it's not a question of running away, it's a question of figuring out how a vulnerable community like this, where do you start? How do you work with the police effectively? How do you engage your representatives? How do you make sure the media portrayal is correct? The media is a double-edged sword. You can use it to further your own message to solve the problem. So part of my bone of contention with the media with respect to completing the picture is actually precisely to get to the heart of the problem within the community and the mainstream. So it's actually the opposite. It's not running away from the problem. It's actually dealing with it in a more sophisticated manner that will yield results that are important to this community. And make no doubt about it, this community is extremely concerned about this issue. If they weren't, we wouldn't be here today.
And why are so many young Canadian Somali men dying in Edmonton?
I don't have the figures. I mean, the percentage, the numbers of Somalis in Alberta are quoted to be, 10,000 or more? In Edmonton, I think it's 10,000. So a dozen men since 2007 for 10,000 people. I'm not sure. That goes back to your question with respect to, why so many are dying. I'm not sure if 12 men from one community of 10,000. I don't know if that percentage is above or below the average for other communities in Edmonton. So without that kind of contrasting data, I can't know if that's above average or below average or average for this community versus other communities.
But like you said before, this is an issue. That's why.
This is an issue. In absolute terms, the numbers are very high. But I don't know if that's. But I don't know if 12 in the last 3 years now. I don't know if that's higher than the average for Edmonton with other communities, unless I see the other data for other groups of people.
Okay, but are you seeing this problem in other places in Canada? Obviously, you cover the National Congress. Is this an issue in other centres?
Yes, it is. However, Edmonton and to a large extent Alberta, but mostly Edmonton, seems to the rate of increase in terms of the absolute numbers are much higher than in Ontario.
And why do you think that is?
I don't have the full answers to that. I think Mohammed can answer to that. I'm not sure.
Again, that's